Another thing that can help, and this is probably with most plants, but to keep the bushiness, keep that nice round shape, is probably every week to 10 days, or perhaps when you water, is just go ahead. Hi, I'm Kim from the Tye-Dyed iguana plant team, and today we're going to be talking about one of our plants that's a little bit on the succulent size, a little bit of a challenge to take care of, but really a pretty plant. It's known as the Chinese money plant, and one of the reasons for that name is the relatively round, about coin-shaped, coin-sized leaves that this plant produces. It's really a little bit unusual. It's a very pretty plant, semi-glossy leaves. You can see little spots, little dots in the center of each one, but it's just a really pretty and unique plant. And depending upon how you want to care for it, it has a tendency to grow in a rounder, smaller, bushy shape. If you let it get a little leggy, I'll explain that in a minute, you're probably not going to be that happy with it. But otherwise, it's relatively easy to take care of. From a watering perspective, as I said earlier, it is semi-succulent. Its leaves are a little bit fleshy, and when you see something like that, you're going to need to be backing off a little bit on your watering. So every 7 days, every 10 days, especially in the winter time, you're going to back off just a little bit. And one of the things that's going to help you with watering, and I've said this before with a couple of our plants, is as you transplant it, is you might consider putting it into a clay pot. The clay pot has a tendency to be a helper for those plants that really don't need a lot of water because it is semi-porous and it will start to absorb any extra water. If you start to see some darkness on the pot, two things are happening. Number one, it's doing its job by sucking out excess water. And number two, it's telling you that you're not doing your job because you're over watering it just a little bit. Most of the pots will have, or most of the clay pots will have a little drainage hole on the bottom. And if that concerns you when you're putting your soil in there, if you think the soil is going to be dripping through, you can just take a small piece of paper towel, stuff that in the bottom there, and it will block that hole. But over a period of time, that piece of paper towel will biodegrade, and by that time your hole in the bottom there is going to be semi-porous, so it's not going to be a problem. So this is something that's going to help you with the watering, that clay pot. From a soil perspective, it likes, like many of our plants do, well-drained soil, a little bit of perlite, and this is kind of a unique plant where it likes a little bit of acidity in the soil. And one of the things that you can do if you don't want to add a chemical, if you're looking to be a little bit more organic, used coffee grinds, not fresh, but used coffee grinds is a source of low-level acidity. If you were to use fresh coffee grinds, that's high-level acidity, and that's not going to help you very much. But if you're wanting to get a little bit of that acidic mix, a little bit, maybe a teaspoon of used coffee grinds, as you're going to go ahead and put this into a larger pot, is going to be just the thing. It's going to help along with that fertilization as well. From a light perspective, we're looking, as many times we do, that indirect bright light. That will help keep this in the bushy mode. If you get too much light, it's going to start to reach that light and it's going to get a little bit leggy. So if we start losing our bushiness, it probably means we've got a little bit too much light going on. Another thing that can help, and this is probably with most plants, but to keep the bushiness, keep that nice round shape, is probably every week to 10 days, or perhaps when you water, is just go ahead and rotate it maybe 90 degrees. And as you continue to do that, you'll just keep the light even and it will keep its nice bushy shape. From a propagation perspective, the Chinese money plant will put out little pups. It's a little difficult to see here, but those pups will come out very slowly. They don't come out frequently, but you can very carefully dig in and go ahead and pull out that pup and repot it, and that's how you will get your second round of plants going. Something you need to be very careful with, as I have just done this, is these leaves are a little bit brittle, like many of our succulents. If you touch them a little bit too hard, if you touch them a little bit wrong, they're just going to snap off like this one has. These don't propagate well. If you put these in the water, expect to see rooties, or if you put it in some dirt and expect to see it go well. As an individual leaf, it does not do well from the world of propagation. So be careful when you handle these, when you're looking at doing the propagation. If you're going to pull out one of those pops, just be careful you don't do any damage. Now, that's not going to kill your plant, but clearly you don't want to be breaking off bunches of leaves. Temperature wise, probably 60 to 80 degrees, likes to be nice and warm. In springtime and maybe early summer, you can bring it outside, but if the temperatures get to be too extreme, that's not going to do well. You're going to need to be bringing it back inside. So be careful with that. You don't want to take any of your plants, especially the Chinese money plant, and bring it outside, bring it inside, bring it outside, bring it inside. It's like most of our plants, has to adapt a little bit to its environment. And this is one of those that when you get into that July, August, dog days of summer time frame, is probably not going to do very well outside. It is non-toxic, good news. And it is one of those plants that is going to do well with fertilization spring and summertime. It's not going to do well if you fertilize it much in the wintertime. Humidity, gentle humidity about 50 to 60%. It's okay to give it a little bit of a spritz, but don't do that very often because again, it is a little bit on the succulent side of the house. Occasionally you will see mealybugs, perhaps some spider mites get down here into the middles where you get all of that growth going on here. So just be careful with that. If you see that pest happening, a little bit of neem oil, or some folks will like to take some rubbing alcohol on a Q-tip and just go ahead and dab where the infected areas are. It really is a neat plant. It's one of those that we get every once in a while. We have a reasonable supply of them right now here at Tye-Dyed Iguana. Just a great new different plant. Nice shape. Nice points here with those little dots in there, and something that is relatively easy to propagate. Just need to be careful. Our plant of the week this week, the Chinese money plant.